The Star Wars Galaxy Hotel. It's launched. Is it worth $6,000? Let's discuss. I have now, when we first talked about it, Alan, we did a video earlier where we discussed the Star Wars Galaxy Hotel. At that point, the videos and social media, embargo was lifted, and we got a glimpse of it. But I spent that last weekend watching a lot of videos, including other channels, videos by Ryan Cannell and Drunk 3PO Jay from his channel, Drunk 3PO, along with, I watched a lot of travel channels, along with Ordinary Adventures, among others. I watched hours and hours and hours of this Galaxy Hotel, and I think it's embarrassing. I think the entire thing is embarrassing. Alan, before I get into, I have really specific reasons for why I think this thing is a disaster and is going to be repurposed into dinner theater, because that's effectively what it is. But Alan, what are your thoughts now that we've had more time to kind of look at it?
So, I mean, I take to heart the comments that have been given, because we have not been there. We don't, we have not experienced it. And I doubt Disney is going to give us a chance to do that unless we shell out $6,000. But I have been watching people I've tried to watch people who've actually gone and kind of work my way through who's kind of shilling for Disney and who's giving us an honest opinion. Mm-hmm. And my opinion hasn't changed a whole lot. It does feel like dinner theater. The sense I get is the reason I mentioned before, but the reason this will fail is because the market for it is so small. I have to believe only Star Wars fans are going to be interested in something like this. I don't think you can really gather people who don't know Star Wars. And then the sense I get is that this is basically a Star Wars escape room. It's, you're in it, you're a character, you're fully immersed in the story. And I will say that idea right there shrinks the Star Wars fandom down even more, because, not everyone's comfortable with interacting like that. Not everyone's a cosplayer, a LARPer, a D&D fan. And I think this is perfectly set up for them. And so, and the cost itself, you realize how many people are involved, the technology involved, the people they're hiring as cast members for this story. I just, even if it was popular, I don't know how it could sustain itself economically. And that's why I think, by the end of summer, it's going to convert to dinner theater and become a giant Star Wars store.
Yeah, well, a couple things. One, I actually got to see some more expanded videos from Galaxy's Edge. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is built around you're looking at your phone constantly because you're getting chat messages.
It's on the app, and
it's on the app. So you have to go to so you're constantly on your phone, and then you're involved in these, one of the things is Chewbacca is brought aboard, so-called the StarCruiser, the Halcyon, and you have to kind of hide Chewbacca. Rey actually comes on the ship at one point. What it sounds like is people playing and pretending Star Wars, mm-hmm. which I used to do as a kid for free in my backyard with other kids. We would play Star Wars. We would choose to be certain characters, and we would play. I even okay, this is gonna sound really weird. I remember getting in an argument with, I'm a little kid. Okay, please. I'm probably 12, 13 years old, with some friends who loved playing Dungeons and Dragons. And when they showed me what Dungeons and Dragons was, it's you go here and we're sitting with this, all the, the board and whatever. And you've got to, it's all in your head. And I'm why don't we just go outside and get sticks, pretend they're swords, and just beat the crap out of each other? That sounds more fun to me. Let's go outside. Yes, I grew up at a time when you used to go outside and play. And then around dinner time, you had to go back to your house. So I don't know that culture kind of exists anymore, but it reminded me of I used to just play Star Wars as a kid and use my imagination and not pay anyone $6,000 to just play and pretend. Mm-hmm. And when I saw some of these adults partaking in this, I felt sad for them. It just felt there's this sort of sinking sadness. I thought to myself, like, for $6,000, and this has been pointed out on some of these other live streams, like, you could actually refit a child's bedroom for $6,000 and make it look better than one of the rooms from the hotel and totally Star Wars-ify it, right? Like, yeah. So it just was. It just makes me feel sad for our modern day that we've sort of taken imagination away, right? Like everything in terms, of like the things that I used to do as a kid. Look, we didn't have as sophisticated as video games, and I was able to just like we're forced to use our imagination to play, and that's effectively what you're bringing people in this into this for, and it just comes off as sad. And I will say this, Patrick, I'm going to get to your comments right now too, because I want to get the chat involved here. But Patrick Lemire says, didn't Star Trek try something similarly immersive in Las Vegas? I think it's still there. It was
no, it's gone. The Star Trek experience is gone.
The Star Trek experience at the Hilton, it no longer exists. They shut it down. They shut it down like over a decade ago.
Yeah.
But what they did was amazing. I did it. It was incredible.
Oh, I've done it many times.
It was so great because you remember you walk through the line and it was like when you walked in the line to get into it, it ends up being like sort of a museum of the history of Star Trek. It's incredible. Then when you get to the experience yourself, you are on the Enterprise and the bridge, and people are acting, and there's things happening. You're sort of in this area. Then you're sort of whisked away, and then you make it onto a shuttle that lands on the top of the Las Vegas Hilton. It's hilarious. But the whole experience,
and then there's the Borg experience as well.
The Borg experience, there's like, so the whole experience lasts maybe, is it like 20 minutes or so? And then you get out and you go to this Star Trek like restaurant where you can get like it's
Quark's.
It's Quark's bar, and they had like, oh my God, like
the onion rings of Beta Z.
All the food is Star Trek themed. There are people walking around, like they had Klingons walking around, people like in character. There was a store, like a gift shop. I remember buying like Klingon and Vulcan beer from that place, which was great. I bought a case of that. But yeah, the Star Trek experience was awesome. It was like, it was over quick. It was reasonably priced. You go to the restaurant, you kind of, they had, what was it? I want to remember the warp core reactor was this punch bowl drink that was like meant for like 4 people. It had like these big straws and it was blue, and it was the warp core. I think it was like the warp core reactor.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I love that Star Trek experience.
Yeah. My wife and I, every time we went to Las Vegas, we would always do the Star Trek experience. We'd always eat at Quark's. The Star Trek experience where you're teleported is amazing. Then you have this 3D Borg thing, and I always say it's an experience where you can get beamed and probed at the same time.
But it was they did have Ferengi there, lag bait, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
and no, it was just like an experience that was like, it was affordable, right? Because you're paying to go on what effectively is kind of a ride and a little show. You wait in line and get this whole history, like artifacts from the history of Star Trek,
which is free.
Which is free. You're just waiting in line. Then you get up to the front. You pay to get into the experience. You do the experience, and then you go and have dinner. I mean, the whole thing. And then optionally you can buy whatever gift shop stuff. This $6,000 thing is just, it's embarrassing. And I'm gonna let's get through some of the comments. And I gotta say, Fulcan Fulcinelli sends a $10 super sticker. Thank you, Fulcan.
Thank you.
Fulcan. I think it's Fulcan. Fulcan? Oh my God. I've mispronounced every name, and my apologies. But Bill 4393 says, OMG, that lame Ray Kylo fight on the balcony. Plus Ray nearly bends down to swap the lightsaber over. Yeah, that was very awkward. Yeah, it's people are saying that thing was just incredibly awkward. Everyone has panned the ridiculous Star Wars hotel thing. That's not true. I would say this. I would say that people talking about it and observing it have panned it. We've only gotten reviews from people who were invited guests. We have not as yet gotten reviews from people who paid for the experience.
Yeah.
There's a blogger, YouTuber named Jenny Nicholson, who I followed for years. Her commentary, she's very much into the Star Wars sequels. She has some really good takes. If you look up Jenny Nicholson, she has paid to go to the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, the Halcyon, I am really interested because she is a paying customer and she's going there for the experience. I'm interested. What do people who have paid to do it? How are they going to review it? And here's what I think. They're not going to give it necessarily a bad review because they'll have to admit that they've wasted $6,000. Think about it. I mean, Alan also.
Yeah, no, it's buyer's remorse. I don't know if that's the term, but
a little bit of buyer's remorse, and like you don't want to be like embarrassed by it. Like, you know, you spent all this money on. I mean, look, you could buy a car for $6,000, right? Like, I'm going on a vacation with my girlfriend to Hawaii, and it's half of the the price of this Galactic Starcruiser thing. And on top of that, not only on top of the $6,000, you have to pay for clothing to kind of blend in. That's optional, right? They offer you this exclusive
lightsabers,
the clothing line, all the other stuff you have to buy to go to it. And then also alcohol is an upcharge. And of course, you know, any merch that you're going to buy, you're not given something exclusive. I mean, I guess if you go there, maybe steal all the towels, but everyone's panned it, but I really want to see, I think it's the people observing from the outside. I mean, I'm just looking at it going like, I feel sorry for people that like have to pay $6,000 to pretend when, you know, look, when my kids were young, we would play games and pretend. We would pretend and play stupid games, you know, and it was fun because they're at that age where, you know, it feels real to them, right?
Yeah.
So, asking Patrick Lemire, is it like Galaxy's Edge, like no OT content? That's right. No original trilogy content. None.
In fact, I saw someone who did do both, who paid for it and did the press thing, and you know, it is a brand new story. It's not related to anything. It takes place in the sequels, and has characters you don't know. Yeah,
right. Well, I want to point out an article that I wrote a couple years ago, just to point everyone to this. You can go to Film Threat, filmthreat.com. You can look this up. I'll post this in the chat if you want to give this a look. So it's an article I wrote years ago about 5 ways to fix Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I'm going to go through this real quickly. I wrote this article having gone to Galaxy's Edge. And by the way, I went for free because a friend of mine who works there kind of got me in. And it was, I felt embarrassed. One, it wasn't original trilogy. The other thing is, if you want to get alcohol there, you have to go to Oga's Cantina. You have to go there. And then you have a 45-minute window to actually be able to enjoy, like, I could not get a buzz on. I'm Irish. It takes a lot. And the alcohol there, while interesting, I did not love it. But I encourage you to go check this article out. Maybe I'll write a similar one. I feel like I'm just suggesting things to kind of improve it. I feel like there should have been parades like they have. I thought it was embarrassing to just have a couple characters, you know. There's like these, all the additional activities require like an additional fee, like the lightsaber experience. I mean, it just seems weird. And then I did do a video. Where I'm kind of, in a way, a little ribbing, a little mocking of some of these channels. So check out my one and only travel channel video, Gore's Tours, and it's on the Film Threat YouTube channel. I'll link it in the description. But in any case, this is Patrick. So it's a haunted house that you sleep in, except somehow Palpatine returned. It's weird because they even like set it in the world of, it's between, you know, The Last Jedi and Force Awakens, which is like, you know,
why?
It's not based on the original trilogy. Like, to me, it's like, you know, look, if this was sort of an off adventure of like Han, Luke, and Leia, and you're somehow caught up in it, but as a $6,000 experience, I just don't see this working. So I don't know. Like, I mean, Alan, you're also like a theme park fan. You have been a Disney annual pass holder. Is this something that you would consider going, say, taking your daughter to? And what do you think she would think of it?
Yeah, my daughter is not into role playing at all, and so she would be absolutely bored, and it'd be a lot of me trying to get her to do things, and it's like that's not a vacation, and that's not. I'm not going to pay $6,000 to do that. You know, as an improviser, I think I would have fun doing it, but I would be more or less screwing around with people, and I get a feeling that would not be appreciated by cast members, and so that right there, it's like, well, and then with all these experiences, you have to upcharge for it to get a lightsaber, to get costumes. I'm spending $6,000. How is this not incorporated in that price? It's just value. I think it comes down to value. If it were a lot cheaper, I would consider it, but this is just way too expensive, and it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think that those Disney and the one thing is the actors, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one thing that you can't actually criticize. The actors who are doing this, they're staying in character for hours while they're walking around, in this hotel, and then having to interact with people, right? And sort of create these quests, or it's like you described it as an escape room. There are kind of escape room elements to it, but it's more like it's more of a quest. It's more of I don't know, just like a treasure hunt. Like you're trying to make certain things happen and feel like you're a part of it. But it just, for me, I just felt sad watching these videos with the people who were, who got to go for free. And I feel like that those reviews immediately off the bat, I don't think people are going to trust it. I did read some of the written reviews of it, and I think that there's more honesty kind of between the lines. Someone described it as a bunker with no windows in one of the articles that I read.
Yeah.
Bill 4393 says, "Did you see Rey actually bending down to swap a lightsaber and the lame fight with Kylo?" Yeah, I watched like 3 different versions of it. And
I can't get myself to watch that. I just can't get myself to do it.
And then here's the other thing. If you've been watching the videos, you've seen it. Why would you go now? You already know what happened.
Let me make a comment about the cast members who are involved in this and interacting with the crowd. I wonder, how long will this remain fun for them? To come to work every week, every day to do this. I'm wondering how they're going to keep, the constant flow of new cast members going through. Because it's got to be a lot of money to train these people.
No, and the thing is this, I watched some of the stuff where they were showing the quests and whatnot, and I was actually really impressed. Like the fact that these people could stay in character, but why is this not part of just Galaxy's Edge? Why didn't Galaxy's Edge optionally, not paying a surcharge, but optionally you're at Galaxy's Edge and you can, using an app at least to sort of kick it off, but you're not always looking at your phone, at least kick off some sort of adventure. My understanding is, just because I have a friend that works in the theme park business, that that was originally the plan. That there was supposed to be smugglers and resistance members evading the First Order, and it was all taking place within Galaxy's Edge. So if you're there at the right time in the right place, all these events are kind of happening in front of you. And they decided not to do that at the last minute. And then what's so funny is most of the actors and people who were involved in that, they went to go work at Knott's, and they restaged it. They rewrote those scripts. No, this is true. They rewrote.
That's amazing.
They rewrote the scripts to be about cowboys, and they rob a bank, and they actually steal like the safe out of the bank, and there's like a chase and a shootout, and you're kind of in the middle of it. If you're in your right place at the right time, at Knott's, like this all kind of takes place in Ghost Town, which is like this old Western town. And they just kind of took sort of vaguely what the plot and storyline was, which was originally going to be done at Galaxy's Edge, and they put it at Knott's.
I have so much more respect for Knott's Berry Farm.
Knott's is cool, but like Knott's is like, and also like their annual pass is super cheap. Yeah. Although they do it's part of the calendar year, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like if you buy it, December 1st, it expires, on December 31st.
Yeah, and we paid extra, and we get free meals twice a day. You know, you can literally go there every day and have dinner, lunch and dinner.
Right. So check out this article, 5 Ways to Fix Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It's on the film threat, filmthreat.com. But I want to get through some of these things. Yeah, open bar. Look, if you're paying $6,000, it should be like a cruise where most of the drinks are free. If you want maybe an upscale drink, fine. But
well, I understand that's how it is. I mean, the meals are all inclusive. It's basically a cruise. So you do not get to get specialty drinks for free, but you do have to pay for those. But everything else, it's free.
Right. Lagbait says, do you think they were going for the status of going to a $6,000 Disney vacation? Is that a thing? Yeah, there is a Disney vacation club, I guess.
DVC, yeah. It's a timeshare.
It's like a timeshare, which timeshares are not a good investment. There is actually a company that makes money to get you out of paying your timeshare because people end up not using them and it ends up being a complete waste of money. Mm-hmm. You know what? You're better off doing like an Airbnb thing or whatever. But I just, you know, I've just sort of been saddened by this. Bill 4393 says, I saw a video of someone reviewing the food there. Some food even has some weird green stuff on it. Yeah. What's weird is the people sitting there going like, and this is a Kashyyyk steak from a Tatooine bantha, Jello. And you're like, can I just kind of know what it is? Like, you can have the fun name and then just tell me, am I eating lamb? What's going on here? Is this vegan?
It's loaded with peanuts, but they won't tell you.
I don't know. Mark Clement says, 5 ways to fix Star Wars Galaxy's Edge doesn't involve a trash compactor. It should. But yeah, check out the video that I made that goes along with this. I'll post it in the chat here at some point. But it's I don't know. Oh, by the way, Chris, you can actually get blue and green milk there. The green milk looks disgusting. Yeah, I kind of made fun of that. Like, it's just I don't know. It's kind of like almond milk, but with coloring, but it has like it's kind of frothy. I don't know.
I know. I always say, they say that, what you see has a lot to do with what you taste.
Why would you go, says Lagbait. They have space bingo, Chris. Yeah, they have space bingo and they teach you some space dance. I mean, a lot of it to me is like, I'm looking at it, it feels more Star Trek than Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if they were going to skin it Star Wars, they would have done original trilogy. But my understanding is, having read up on this, I really went down a rabbit hole last weekend. After we talked about, I went down a huge rabbit hole with this stuff. But my understanding is that when Lucas sold the rights to Star Wars to Disney, he sold the rights for them to make new Star Wars content, new movies, new television shows, animated shows. The whole idea was, I'm going to sell you the rights to make new stuff. But if they use the old stuff, you have to pay a license fee back to Lucas, which is why the original trilogy and legacy characters are used so little. And my theory is, going back to long ways, when Josh Trank originally was working on a Star Wars property, I think he was working on the Boba Fett movie. That was the rumor at the time. And then Josh Trank ended up leaving that project, the sort of adding to a list of filmmakers who've had bad experiences working with Lucasfilm. And he left the project. And my feeling is that what he developed ended up becoming The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian could have just been Boba Fett, right? Like, Boba Fett somehow gets out of the Sarlacc pit and, whatever. But I mean, The Mandalorian is the best Star Wars that Disney has produced. Although, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about The Mandalorian, a lot of mixed feelings. But the interactive lightsaber game, there's one, you can buy that at the store. There is already one that is a lightsaber game. And I just feel like I've been to events, like, for example, during Star Wars Celebration, who's going to Star Wars Celebration? Who's going to Star Wars Celebration? Anybody? Anyone? I bought my tickets to Star Wars Celebration before The Rise of Skywalker even came out. So I do have tickets to Star Wars Celebration. And it's happening this May at the Anaheim Convention Center in Anaheim. And I guess I'll go. I'm going to go to it, but I don't really care. But I will say this, I've gone where I've had so much fun hanging out with fans. That's the fun part. And in particular, people from the 501st. If you're not aware, the 501st are mostly, you know, a lot of them are like ex-military, some like, you know, cops or firemen. And it's an organization that does a lot of volunteer and charity work. They raise money for charity, in particular, children's hospitals. They also, in addition to raising money, they also do events where they'll go visit children's hospitals, like dressed in character to just cheer up kids. So they do a lot of volunteer work. And so I really have a lot of love and support for the 501st. And I've gone to their parties, which end up being fundraising events. And they're awesome. These people from the 501st love to drink and hang out. So yeah, Scott Slaughterbeck really bringing, on a downer note, according to the UN, 9 million people a year die of starvation, yet we're spending $6,000 for Star Wars experience. Yeah, there's a lot of depressing things in the world. And I feel like you know, something like doing this experience is a huge luxury that I could not justify for myself at all. And it just doesn't feel like Star Wars to me. The singer, the woman who's the Twi'lek, who sings kind of these jazz songs that seems so, first of all, it doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels off-brand. It feels more like our world, right? And it feels, it has a little Fifth Element element to it. Wait, Fifth Element vibe, or Star Trek. It just feels more generic starship, right? If they were going to do this, they should have said it in the original trilogy. Yeah. Quick comment from Bill 4393 from Star Wars to Trek. Has Chris seen episode 1 of Picard season 2 yet? Here's what I'll tell you. I haven't seen anything of Picard. And Star Trek Discovery, I watched the first 4 episodes. I just couldn't justify another streaming service effectively to watch one show. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just, my interest is just not there. To me, I'm original Star Trek series and The Next Generation. And after that, my interest waned. And I feel the current Star Trek doesn't feel like Star Trek in the sense of espousing the values that Gene Roddenberry represented. So,
yeah. I mean, that's how I feel. The new Star Wars stuff just doesn't, Star Trek stuff doesn't feel like Star Trek.
It doesn't.
And then I'm seeing the Picard trailer, and it's all this multiverse stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm getting overloaded with multiverse.
Yeah, I feel like people are gonna get bored of multiverse stuff. Fulcinelli says, I almost forgot I had those tickets. Hey, Fulkin, I'll see you there. I'm usually at the Hilton or the Marriott bar. And I'm a sucker for Star Wars themed drinks. So if there is a Star Wars themed drink there, I will be drinking it.
Yeah.
So,
and hopefully by then all the COVID restrictions are gone, and we just have a normal Star Trek celebration.
Yeah. Real quick, Patrick Lemire says the original trilogy licensing fee must be A, expensive, B, must have a loophole that allows massive use of Solo, Boba Fett, Luke. No, yeah, I'm sure that it's a complex agreement, but this explains why the original trilogy characters were not used to full effect in my opinion. I feel like the Star Wars sequels were, and we have a video we did on this, one of the biggest missed opportunities in cinema history. And Patrick Lemire bringing us down again. Hunger is a problem because of the actions of warlords, etc. Not a lack of food or money. So you spending money on a stupid vacation is not starving anybody. All right. Well, I'm thank you for relieving me of my guilt here.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, who of us normies who has $6,000 lying around?
To justify for it,
yeah,
like, it's only 2 days.
Of all the things in your life,
if you're going to spend that much money on a vacation, why not it be a week or 10 days? For that, you could get a cruise for your whole family, and it could last a week. Cruises are not expensive.
You could do the Panama tour and the Panama Canal.
There's so much you could do. And like someone else said on one of the live streams, like for $6,000, you could trick out and make a room into a Star Wars room, make it actually a room out of the hotel. And then you own it effectively. You can Airbnb that thing out. I'm sure there's a way to do that. I like those I like themed hotels and whatnot. But we're gonna wrap it up today. But I want to say first of all, thank you to the chat, everyone here. Thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you coming by and talking to Alan and I on our live stream.